Call in, guys. Talk to me nice.
Welcome back to Sports Tea. Welcome back to Sports Tea.
Talk to me nice. Nice. Call in, guys. Talk to me nice. Call in, guys. Talk to me nice. Talk to me nice.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Sports Tea. I know that the Cleveland Cavaliers game is on versus the Pacers. It was a pretty tight game. I'm watching in the background, but I wanted to come in and I had to talk about the games from yesterday. I was having some technical difficulties, so I didn't go live, but I really had to come in here and chat with you guys about it and just, let it be known my thoughts on these games and also the breaking news surrounding Cooper FLAGG. So that's what we're going to get straight into because the Mavericks, they hit the jackpot, right? Nico Harrison, I mean, his ass has been grassed pretty much since the Luka Doncic trade, and perhaps this saves him with Dallas fans and the Dallas team, right? They traded Luka. They didn't get enough assets back for him. And so was this all part of his master plan? We're going to get into it. I'm also going to talk about Knicks versus Boston, the Warriors and the T-Wolves. Both of these teams have gone up 3-1 in the series. So really interesting games that we watched yesterday. Really, really great time to be alive in the NBA playoffs. So we're also going to talk about Michael Jordan, who's coming back to the NBA. And I'll get into that much deeper. But to start off with, as you guys load into the room, do me a favor, like the video, share the video. That one's really important just so that we can grow the Sports Tea community and really just blow this up to be big. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. But let's just jump right into this Cooper FLAGG topic. I mean, the Mavericks, they almost had no chance of getting the first round pick, like a 1% chance or less than 1% or something like that. And they rose up like 10 spots. They rose up from the 10th spot to the number 1 spot. And so they have been gifted the number 1 pick in Cooper FLAGG. And it just seems like this, to me, this seems like a conspiracy. There's no way that Luka Doncic goes to the Lakers, AD gets to the Mavericks. Nobody knows about this mysterious trade, right? This is just so top secret. And then all of a sudden, the Mavericks, the Dallas Mavericks, are gifted the number 1 draft pick. How does that actually happen? Is that some sort of handshake deal with Adam Silver? Hey, let's make this trade happen. You guys will get the number 1 pick in return in Cooper FLAGG. We want him in Dallas. I mean, it does seem like Cooper FLAGG is a perfect fit in Dallas, especially given the other pieces that they have there. And just conveniently that now Luka's gone. They have their new great white hype in Dallas. So he's being hyped up to be like, we haven't seen anything like him since Larry Bird. And I mean, I think Cooper FLAGG is great. I think he can play basketball. I mean, the kid's got a basketball player body. He can jump out the gym. I really like his game. Is he the best closer that I've ever seen? No, I don't know that his shooting is on par with Larry Bird, but I think he's fantastic. He's going to light up the NBA and he's going to be special. That's what I see of him in college. So hopefully that translates to the NBA. It might not. Maybe his first couple of years could be slow to start. Who knows? But lots of chatter surrounding this. I was listening to Get Up this morning and they absolutely they had a lot to say about it. They had a lively discussion surrounding the trade. And Jay Will, he spoke. He had a hot take. He thinks that Nico Harrison should trade the number 1 pick. So trade Cooper FLAGG and try to bring Giannis to the team. And I don't really agree with that. I think Cooper FLAGG is really young. Keep him, develop him. They can still try to get another star. I don't think Cooper FLAGG, I don't know that that's so much leverage. Maybe it is. He's an exciting player. So, he's going to bring butts to seats, but is he ready to win? Is he going to change a franchise instantly in year 1? I don't know. So But yeah, I was listening to Get Up this morning. Jay Will had a very controversial hot take. And I want you guys to hear it. We'll take a listen and then we'll react together.
Cannot happen. And of course it did.
Now I know it's going to be controversial, but if I'm Nico Harrison, I'm trading the pick. Like, look, there's something. Hey, let's get back at a good grade. I hear you. But I'm not sure for a guy like Cooper Flagg. I think he needs reps. I think he needs a lot of room to grow. I'm not sure championship aspirations right away for him. Now, look, the basketball part of me loves the thought of AD, Cooper Flagg, Derek Lively in the backcourt, right? But when I look at the value, could you potentially package something like this to get a Giannis? Could you package in a one-on-one trade to get a Devin Booker? Could you get a Tyrese Maxey? If your championship window is in 2 to 3 years, could you utilize that pick and some assets to get somebody who's ready to contribute to you right now with the pressure in the West Coast?
What are you doing, Alan? What are you drinking? What do you got?
There's some good stuff in there. I don't know.
What are you drinking this morning? Are you want them to burn the building down? This is a gift from the basketball gods.
Yes.
You traded Luka Doncic. You get a player in Cooper Flagg who can replace that as the son that these fans can fall back in love with, that they feel like was torn from them. He gets that back. That is redemption. The one thing you don't do is now trade him because you are trying to advance the cause. That piece is going to be part of the cause for maybe the next 10 to 15 years.
What we're not going to do is give Nico false hope. Nico, they still on your ass like Huggy. You got to win. So that's what you got to win. You have to win. But I will agree with you with this. They have a lot of wing players, so they need to move somebody. I don't know if that's Cooper Flagg, but you have Max Christie, you have Caleb Martin, you just paid Najee Marshall. You have pieces to move and play with. So something has to happen. I don't know if it's Cooper Flagg because Nico, they bought you a little time with that. I don't know.
You have to be reasonable and just see what the market can offer you for somebody like Cooper Flagg. And look, I think Cooper Flagg is a hell of a player. He's a two-way player, actually. I think he could fit with Dallas very well. I just wonder if he can give it to you right now because your window's short.
But you might not need it right now. Think about it. Kyrie Irving is going to miss most of next season. So your window might not even be next season. Your window might be 2 seasons from now, which is when he'll have a year experience under his belt. Your mentality is why the Detroit Pistons passed on Carmelo Anthony. They thought they were in a championship window. I'm just saying, they were in a championship window. They didn't think that was the right kind of fit. They wanted to get a big man. How'd that work out?
Cleveland got Andrew Wiggins, and then they got Kevin Love, and they won a championship.
They definitely won a championship, and they had a 1.7% chance of winning the lottery.
Okay.
They got.
Wow, UD's bringing stats.
I mean, I'm just saying.
Never mind, Hembo.
I'm just saying.
UD's been doing his homework. So you're suggesting is that within the span of 5 months or whatever it would be, that the Dallas Mavericks should trade away.
You can't even get it out.
Luka Doncic and
Cooper Flagg. Wait, first of all, I was never on board with trading away Luka Doncic.
No one was.
See, Nico saw something that we didn't.
Right.
But I am offering the suggestion of looking at trade packages for Cooper Flagg.
Cooper Flagg straight up for Giannis, who says no.
I say no.
Ain't nobody saying no. Ain't nobody.
Nico,
you're saying no?
No, you can't.
You're saying no.
Yes.
Time out.
Yes.
Cooper Flagg
Giannis,
trade
Giannis.
I am talking about a franchise for the next 10 to 15 years. That's what I'm looking at here. A player who is a generational talent. Now, Giannis obviously is a 7-year MVP.
One at a time.
But I am talking about something that goes beyond a smaller window. He's over 30. He's a great player. It doesn't guarantee you anything because Davis's injury history, Kyrie's still out. I need to know that I've got a piece that I just gave away. I've got a piece back that I can say, you know what, I believe in him more than I believe in Luka. This guy's going to be our guy for the next 10, 15 years.
You are getting a piece back. You're getting a guy who's won in a small market without a big three. He's done it by himself. Where most guys go package with other superstars. He did it by himself.
I just want to hold you accountable. Giannis, generational player.
Yes.
LeBron, generational player. KD, generational player.
Proven.
Are you saying Cooper Flagg is going to be one of those three?
Yeah, I got to believe that.
I'm not sure about that yet.
After what was one of the most transformational nights in recent.
Well, I think it's really interesting because it's come out since this morning that, the Mavericks are not interested in trading the number 1 pick. And also, like, who's to say that Giannis even wants to go to Dallas? Even if Dallas could potentially trade for Giannis is a champion. I'm going to imagine that he would want to take a huge stake in wherever he's going to go next. I think Dallas could be a good landing spot, but I haven't heard of Giannis to Dallas until today. I've heard of Giannis to the Lakers, that they're going to try to make a push for him. I could see that happening. I can't see Giannis wanting to go to the Lakers, but I could see there being a lot of chatter about the Lakers picking up Giannis. I just think Dallas already has Anthony Davis. Now, if they're going to trade Anthony Davis for Giannis, that's one thing. But if they're going to try to keep Anthony Davis and Giannis together, I don't know that I love that so much. I think they need to invest I just think they need to invest in a player that can really shoot the ball. Giannis is, and maybe AD solves for that. He's a better shooter than Giannis, but he hasn't been shooting very well from 3. So I don't know that I trust that. yeah, I don't love Giannis in Dallas. Could it work? Yes, but I don't love it. I'm curious to know what you guys think about that soundbite. I'll read some comments. I saw, who did I see? I saw from someone, AD goes to the Lakers from the Pelicans. Pelicans get first pick. Luka goes to Lakers from Mavs. Mavs get first pick. NBA is rigged. I love this comment, T. Gray August. It's just, there's so much collusion in the NBA. It's laughable that nobody's calling it out. It's like we're just running around celebrating that the Mavs got the first pick. Like, I don't believe in coincidences like this. I mean, how far does this really go back? Who knows? It probably goes back way further than the AD trade. But yeah, AD goes from the Lakers to the Pelicans, and then the Pelicans turn around and get the first pick. How is that not some kind of sneaky link? How is that not collusion at its finest? And it seems like it has a lot to do with the Lakers. Both of these examples are the Lakers, but I just wonder how much Adam Silver is involved. He has to be. Mavericks don't get the first pick unless Adam Silver is involved in that. So the NBA is making moves to manufacture storylines and manufacture just how the league is going to be even competitive. It's all manufactured. It's all rigged to be what they want it to be what they want us to see. It's not real. Every team is not operating at an even playing field. I thought it was really interesting because Kendrick Perkins, he had quite a bit to say as well about Giannis potentially going to Dallas, and it was clear to me that it's not something that is like an automatic. I don't know why Jay Will, I get that having a hot take on TV is something that people are going to do. It's going to happen. I'm okay with Jay Will saying, you know what, maybe they should trade the number 1 pick, but I'm just not, I don't, and I get it. Giannis is coming available, but I don't know that Giannis is the answer for Dallas. But Kendrick Perkins sounded off on that as well.
I ain't never seen you pass up a deal.
No, I never pass up a deal, but I don't believe Giannis, like the Dallas Mavericks are a team that is on Giannis' wish list. Like, he's not trying to get down to Dallas. And I'm gonna tell you this, Giannis want to go to a team that Giannis can control, right? Like the Dallas Mavericks, yeah, you could have Kyrie may have a little say-so, AD may have a little say-so, but Nico's running the ship. And what I'm saying is that I don't believe Giannis wants to go to Dallas.
Where do you think he wants to go?
I believe that Giannis he wants to stay on the East Coast. Giannis wants to stay in the Eastern Conference. Yeah. Like he's not trying to go out west. He wants to stay in the Eastern Conference. I know this for a fact. Yep. So what I'm saying is, if you're Dallas, why are you even looking to entertain that at the moment? Right? You just gave this organization life with winning the lottery. You're set up for the next probably 10 to 15 years with this young man in Cooper Flagg. He's only 18 years old, Molly.
Big Perk.
Jay Will.
Big Perk, by the way, you look great last night. You look tremendous on that set. You, Jay Bayless, you got Kevin Naganda, you guys had the whole look. It did feel big last night. I'm with you. And also seeing Daryl Morey right there at the table, just put his head down, the fact that Philly was in that position where they could have gotten potentially the first pick in the draft. And you are right. There is something about having a guy like Cooper Flagg on his rookie contract, because that allows you to dance around some loopholes with the salary cap, second apron. You are correct in that mode. But I will say this. You are correct again that I have seen Cooper Flagg a lot. I think Cooper Flagg, this is a delicate situation. Now, it could still work out in Dallas if Nico decides to take him. But I do think there are some places, and UD.
Look, I think that Cooper Flagg fits into Dallas. I like him, as a guard or wing position. I just think that he could bring an excitement back to Dallas that they've been missing since Luka left. That's my opinion. I think that they should stick with him and continue to, add some more pieces throughout the season. I don't think that they need Giannis there. I think that Dallas has quite a bit. And imagine if LeBron James goes to Dallas to play with Kyrie Irving, AD again. It seems like he might not be so happy with the Lakers, especially after his exit from the first round. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen with Dallas? I don't know that Giannis is the answer and the need. But I do think for sure it could be an explosive trade that worked. But why? I just don't understand why they couldn't get Giannis and keep Cooper Flagg. I think they could. What I will say is that Cooper Flagg to Dallas has been so exciting for the sports media. I mean, Skip Bayless completely, like, he just pushed his own wig back with this trade. Like, he was just so excited. I do have some audio from him, so I'll play that for you guys and we'll react to what he said. I mean, it's funny to me how the media, mainstream or YouTube content creators, it's like we just want to pretend like this isn't something that has been set up, that Adam Silver colluded with Nico Harrison and the Mavericks ownership, as well as Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss, the ownership in the Lakers organization. It's just so clear to me that this is what happened, and people are mainstream media is just completely turning a blind eye. Nobody's saying anything about it. And I just think it's hilarious. But here's Skip Bayless. He had quite a bit to say, and we'll react.
Nico Harrison just hit the lottery. The Dallas Mavericks, with a 1.8% chance, just won the Cooper Flagg sweepstakes. My heart's still thumping. It was weirdly more exciting than some last-second do-or-die free throw, make-or-miss free throw to win an NBA championship, because it was impossible. Nico Harrison just went from losing all credibility in Dallas, most people want him to lose his job in Dallas, to hitting the lottery in a great year to hit the lottery. I'm not saying Cooper Flagg is quite Wemby, but he's close. He is going to change life in Dallas. Maverick fans, congratulations. You just got your new Luka. I'm not saying he'll be anywhere near as entertaining and exciting as Luka, but in his own way, you just got special. You just got difference maker. You just got life changer. And if possible, right here, right now, Dallas Maverick fans, your team as is, if I add Cooper Flagg onto it, and I assume that Kyrie can come back from an ACL tear and get and stay healthy, if I can trust that, your team right here, right now is better than that team a year ago that got to the NBA Finals. It is better. I would give it a better chance of winning an NBA championship even next year, certainly the next year, winning an NBA championship within the next 2 years, because you hit the Cooper Flagg lottery. I have never seen anything like this. It was the last thing I thought of all morning. I was thinking, who's going to have their life changed by Cooper Flagg? And I'm thinking of Charlotte, and I'm thinking of Utah, and I'm thinking of blah, 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 all those bottom feeders, Washington. I'm thinking one of those teams is going to hit the lottery. And then I'm thinking, God, poor Cooper Flagg's going to have to go there and try to lift them up by himself for a while, do the best he can. Not now. Cooper Flagg is a great fit for Dallas, Texas. Dallas, Texas, trust me, I lived there and worked there as a columnist for, 17 years. I was there when the Mavericks were founded by Norm Sanju and Rick Sun and Don Carter. I know what that clientele is like. I know it. I know the makeup of Dallas, Texas. It will love Cooper Flagg. I know it loved Luka. But Luka came out here to Los Angeles, where I live, and I carefully watched him fall apart and fade away right on cue against Minnesota. The Lakers got wiped out in 5 games because of all the reasons that Nico traded Luka for AD. I came to love AD out here as a Laker because on any given night, he's the best player in the league. Trust me on this. Best two-way player in the league. He is a rim protector extraordinaire. He's a shot blocker / changer of rare impact. He has guard mobility because he played guard all the way up through high school until he had this huge growth spurt. He is, you saw what he did in the first quarter as a Dallas Maverick against the Houston Rockets. He destroyed the Rockets. It was only for a quarter, but he went for 14 and 6 with a block in the first quarter. And then he pulled something. I know he's had a history of this, but the year before he was great all year. I just like where he is. I like what he brings to your table. He'll be more impactful than Luka. Luka brought his double chin out here to LA. Luka brought that spare tire around that midsection out here to LA. And JJ Redick called him out after they got blown away in 5 games. We have certain players who need to get in championship shape. There's only one that was aimed and premeditatedly aimed at one guy to try to relight his fire, because they tried to light it behind closed doors and they found out what Nico knew. He won't listen, virtually uncoachable. He's virtually unmanageable as your superstar. He takes way too many threes, 10 a game. And once he loses it, you lose. See 11 of 45 in the finals last year. I just don't, I like to watch him, but he complains over every call and non-call. With a smile, he's complaining with a smile, but he just wears referees out after a while. He and LeBron they just went straight south in 3 straight fourth quarters of games 3, 4, and 5 against Minnesota. Minnesota's not great. They shot one game 7 of 47, and they still managed to win. I think that's a closeout game 5. Nico knew what he was doing. I backed him. That was a good trade for Dallas. It was a good trade for LA just because of the box office, because you're going to need another LeBron just for TV and gate sales. And you got him. It's Showtime the second. I got that. I love watching Luka play. I just don't love the way he plays. And if it's dubs that you want, if it's contention that you want, I don't love him. I'll take AD and I'll take Max Christie. I love that kid. 3 and D at 6'5", and he will give you every ounce every night, and he will fight you on defense, and he can stroke the 3. It was a nice addition to the trade. Yeah, Luka's box office, but all of a sudden, Dallas, I envy you because you got a flat-out contender. You've got AD, again, if Kyrie can come back strong and healthy, and I assume he will. You still have Klay Thompson, and I still think he has a little gas in the tank. Certainly as a catch-and-shoot three-point shooter, he's one of the greatest, if not the greatest ever. He's right up there with Steph. You still got P.J. Washington. You still have Daniel Gafford. You still have Derek Lively to come in off the bench and just jumpstart as a big who can run the floor. You still have, Nico added Caleb Martin. I love Caleb Martin from the Miami Heat days. He's a player. Najee Marshall is a.
Obviously, there's just so much excitement over Cooper Flagg going to Dallas. I hope that they keep him there. Skip Bayless said a few things that really hit home to me. He talked about Luka Doncic and his lack of conditioning. And, he showed up to LA with, a tire around his stomach. It's not only me that says that Luka Doncic has a body that's not built for the NBA. It's not just me that says he can't defend because of this lack of conditioning. So I'm not body shaming him and how he looks. I think he's a good looking guy, actually. I just, for basketball purposes, he's overweight, out of shape, and he can't defend because of it. He can't win a title because of it. There's been no superstar in the history of the league where we said, okay, he lost in the NBA finals because he can't defend, or because he can't defend because he's out of shape. I don't remember that being a narrative for any superstar that's lost in the finals. So I just think that the Luka trade, I think that Nico Harrison is vindicated. I think he was right. I think that there are many people that are going to be on his side for this. And, Udonis Haslem, he said it best, like, hey, you're not out of the woods, Nico. Dallas fans are still on your helmet. Like, they're still on your ass, So I don't know that the Cooper Flagg draft pick solves everything that Dallas fans feel like they went through as a result of Nico Harrison trading Luka Doncic, but I do know that Cooper Flagg is being considered a generational player. I haven't seen yet that that's true, but I hope that it is. I like his style of play. I like his will to compete. I think that he can get right out there and compete with the best players on the floor. It doesn't seem like he's got a lot of fear. Does he miss shots at the end of games? Absolutely. That's what we saw him do in college. He couldn't close out. So he's only 19 years old. I think that we're going to see him come into the league and develop, and we're going to see what he's going to do. I'm excited for him. quite frankly. I really enjoy Cooper Flagg. So I think he's going to be great with Dallas. And I suspect that they're going to really try to develop him. I suspect that there's going to be a ton of excitement for their organization and for their fans next season. So more to come on Cooper Flagg. But, isn't it kind of crazy? The Mavericks got Cooper Flagg after having like a 0% chance of getting him. Nico Harrison is vindicated out of this. And, I don't think that Flagg should be traded away from Dallas for Giannis. That doesn't make much sense to me. I'm not on board with that. But I want to read some more comments from you guys and see what you think. Yeah, so far the Pacers are spanking the Cavs to go fishing. Absolutely. I think that this is this is it. Hopefully it is. I'm hoping that they're just put out of their misery. There's about 2 minutes left in the game. I've been watching, and it's just time to end this series, because I personally, I don't want to watch the Cavs just, have a slow death. I'd rather just see them gone in 5. Donovan Mitchell, he did a lot. He exploded in the games where he could, and it wasn't enough. And the Cavaliers, I think Donovan Mitchell led teams they're cursed with not being able to get out of the second round. Donovan Mitchell seems like a really strong guard, but not a legit superstar. And I think he's a great number 2, but he's playing in a number 1 role, but I just don't know that role suits him. He needs to play alongside another superstar that can propel him to victory, at least to an Eastern Conference Finals. But anyhow, I want to read some more comments on this Flagg situation. Flagg has a higher upside than Luka. I mean, I'm just wondering, who do you guys think that Dallas fans would rather have? A 26-year-old Cooper Flagg or a 26-year-old Luka Doncic? Like, if we could predict the future, I'm curious. Speaking of someone who's only 19 years old, prayers up for Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum's definitely young, not quite 19 years old, but we're going to get to Jason Tatum and his leg injury. It was reported that, he's had surgery. He's going to make a full recovery on his Achilles. I believe it's his right Achilles. This is just awful. It was awful to see him go down like that, but we're going to talk about it for sure. I guess this is a good time to get into the next topic, and that's the Boston Celtics versus the New York Knicks. That game, I mean, it was just so incredible. I'm going to break down the game for you guys. We're going to dig in, and we're going to listen to some sound as well. I have to say, when we take a look at the team stats, Jason Tatum was the highest scorer on the floor, and he went down with an Achilles injury at the end of the game. He didn't play the last 3-4 minutes of the game because of this Achilles injury. I mean, it was just awful the way he went down. Really, nothing caused it. He went down similarly to the way that Kevin Durant went down with his Achilles injury. It was just heartbreaking to see, because there was really great competition. Do I believe that the Knicks were going to win this game? Yes, I do. I think that the Knicks had a stronger second half than the Celtics. I think that Jalen Brunson was on a tear from the third quarter on, and the Knicks have been consistently the better fourth quarter team in close game situations. So I did think that the Knicks were still going to win, even if Jason Tatum was still on the floor. But he put up a stellar performance. He really wanted to save the Celtics series. Salute to Jason Tatum and everything he's done for their team this season, as well as in the postseason. He finally had his best game of the series, and it's shockingly devastating that he had to go down, with this leg injury, with the Achilles injury at the end of the game, where, every possession mattered at that point, and they were basically trading 3-point shots. Clutch baskets back and forth, and it was just really awful. So, when we take a look at the team stats, Tatum, like I said, 42 points, highest scorer on the floor, 16 of 28 field goals, 100% from the free throw line. Jalen Brunson, just incredible performance by him on the Knicks. 39 points, 14 of 25 shooting, 7 out of 9 free throws. When we go ahead and we take a look at the team stats, the Knicks put up 92 shots, Celtics 79 shots. They shot 54% 6 percentage points better than the Celtics did. The Knicks didn't shoot well from 3, and they haven't been shooting well from 3 all series long. Celtics made 18 3-point shots, and they had a really great first half. And so I thought that the Celtics were going to win the game. I thought that they had a really strong first half, and they seemed to have it under control. They were shooting 37.5% from 3 to the Knicks 35. Knicks only made 12 3-point shots out of 34. I mean, the Celtics shot a much higher volume of 3-pointers. The free throw differential was there. Celtics got to the line 26 times to the Knicks 12. So Celtics, they should have won the game based on that. They went to the line 26 times, more than double the amount of times that the Knicks went, and the Knicks playing inside games. So they should have gotten to the line a little bit more. So this was home cooking at its finest. I'm sorry, this was the the referees really trying to keep the Celtics in the game, which I thought was interesting. But game 4 in the Garden by the Knicks was won again, and the Knicks out-rebounded the Celtics. They crashed the glass, and they crashed the glass very well. Jalen Brunson would miss a shot, get his own rebound, put it right back up. They were sensational from the mid-range. They assisted the ball better, 25 assists to the Celtics, 15. Celtics got a couple more stops than the Knicks did, 8 to their 5. They were tied up in blocks. So, from this team's stats, when you take a look, this doesn't look like a very defensive game, but it absolutely was. They both were tied up in turnovers. And they conceded almost an equal amount of points on turnovers. So Celtics conceded 19 versus the Knicks 18 points. Fast break points, they were tied up even. Points in the paint, the Knicks completely annihilated them in the paint. Fouls, the Knicks fouled more. And the Celtics had the largest lead at one point was 14 points. So the Knicks walked them down. Okay, and we saw that happen in the third quarter big time. The third quarter is what really sort of decided the game and changed the course of the game. It completely changed the trajectory of where, game 4 was headed that third quarter. And, when we take a look at the box score here, and we see just like what Jason Tatum was able to do, he was just sensational in this game. He did have 4 turnovers. So did Jaylen Brown. He had 4 turnovers, but delivered 20 points. From behind the arc, Derek White was amazing. He was more than 50% from behind the arc. Tatum was really sensational. 7 3-point shots made, 42 points he exploded for. And again, he didn't play the last 4 minutes of the game. He went down with the Achilles injury, still exploded with 42 points. It looked like he was going to have a 50-point game. That's what it really looked like. It looked like he was going to go for 50, and perhaps the Celtics were still going to lose. But he played amazing, absolutely sensational. It was his best game in the series by far. When you take a look at the bench, Mazzulla did not play the bench. He played his starters for pretty much the whole game. And he only had Kristaps Porzingis, Peyton Pritchard, and Luke Cornett on the floor from the bench. And the bench, they delivered less than 20 points. So when we take a look at what the Knicks were able to do, Mikal Bridges he was amazing. He was hitting difficult shots from the mid-range. He didn't make as many 3-point shots, just 1 of 6 from the floor. OG Anunoby was sensational from behind the arc, 50% from 3. Jalen Brunson, 50% from 3. Josh Hart made a 3-pointer. I mean, the Knicks, they shot the ball much better in this game, but they're still not a 3-point team. Like I said, only 12 3-pointers made. Again, when you take a look at their bench, they didn't have much production, so the bench only delivered about 10 points. But it was the starters that came up big. Jalen Brunson with 39 points. And then their starters, pretty much 4 out of 5 starters had plus 20 points. So incredible performance by the Knicks. They really came up big. Karl Anthony Towns turned the ball over quite a bit, but still had 23 points, 11 rebounds. Jalen Brunson, I mean, look at this stat line. 39, 12, and 5. I mean, 12 assists. He really, not only did he score the ball, he created opportunities for his teammates. And that third quarter was just sensational. And I'm going to show you guys from a shot selection perspective what Tatum was able to do. And when we look at the third quarter, just Tatum and Brunson head to head, Brunson hit 2 threes, Tatum hit 1. You know, Tatum just, Brunson outplayed Tatum in the third quarter. Tatum, it felt like he was the only one doing anything for the Celtics. I mean, he was just sensational in this game, but it wasn't enough. And then when we take a look at the fourth quarter, Tatum versus Brunson, I mean, and again, Tatum went down in the last 4 minutes. So this is Brunson for the whole fourth quarter. Would the Celtics actually have won this game if Tatum was able to stay on the floor? I don't think so. I think he was going to go for 50, but I think the Knicks were still going to win. Mikal Bridges came up big. He was hitting difficult mid-range shot after difficult mid-range shot. He was just really that good. Their starters came up big. So, you know, this game, it was really a great game to watch. Stephen A. Smith, he was there covering the game, and this is what he said post-game. It was a somber moment, I think, because Jason Tatum went down with injury. So it's hard for Knicks fans to feel so excited about this because you want the best competition on the floor. We don't want it to be an easy win for the Knicks. I mean, yes, I'm grateful that they're going to make it out of the second round, and I was wrong. I thought that the Knicks, their ceiling was the second round. I thought they would be eliminated. I thought they were going to get swept by the Boston Celtics. And, you know, Captain Clutch himself, Jalen Brunson, he showed up, he showed out. Karl Anthony Towns, he did not play soft. He had, a broken finger, a broken thumb or something like that from the prior game, and he still came out and balled. OG Anunoby defended, two-way player, hit shots, got to the rim. I mean, they just played sensationally. And I'm really proud of New York. New York fans have a whole lot to celebrate. The Garden was on fire. New York streets are they are celebrating. And, you know, this is going to be the first time in 25 years that the Knicks make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. So this is huge. And imagine if they go to the finals. This is going to be just, New York is going to, they're not going to know what to do with themselves. New York fans are going to be off the hook. So get ready. Get ready, New York City. Get ready, NBA. Get ready, NBA fans all over the world. You're not going to be able to say anything to New Yorkers right now. Okay? But we do have some sound. There was a lot of chatter in the sports media world surrounding the Knicks. Can they close the series in 5? You know, what does Tatum's injury mean for the series? Do the Celtics have a chance of even making this a series and bringing it to 7 games? You know, I don't think they have a chance in hell of coming back in this series. I don't think the Celtics have right now the energy. They don't seem like they're really in it right now. They seem deflated by Jason Tatum's injury. And Porzingis is also having this unexplained illness. There's games that he looks really good. There's games that he's playing limited minutes. So it's tough for him to make a huge impact for the Boston Celtics. But I do want to play some sound for you guys surrounding the Knicks and just, you know, whether or not Tatum's injury is going to have a huge impact and if they can close the series in 5. Let's hear it.
Stephen A. Smith was in the building for Game 4, and he joins us now from the Garden floor. So, Stephen A., this wasn't the epic late comebacks of Games 1 and 2. This was the Knicks going toe-to-toe with the Celtics the entire second half. What stood out to you about the way the Knicks played tonight?
Well, what you just said, how they went toe-to-toe, how they were ready for battle, how they showed up and they played defense collectively. Offensively, you had 4 different dudes scoring in double figures. This is what you expected from the New York Knicks. Not necessarily to win games, but to make it a grind and to make sure that the reigning defending NBA champions knew they were in a dogfight. The first 3 quarters of Games 1 and 2, you didn't see that. And then the Knicks miraculously came back from 20-point deficits. In Game 3, they got blitzed. And you know Boston, the best road team in the NBA, 5 games better than they were at home during this regular season, came into Madison Square Garden and bum rushed the New York Knicks. So you walked up in here, and that momentum, that vibe, that fervor, and everything that came with it for Game 3 at Madison Square Garden clearly dissipated to some degree coming into Game 4 because there were a lot of New Yorkers that were incredibly concerned. Could the Knicks beat this team? Could they avoid getting down into a deep deficit that they probably wouldn't be able to dig themselves out of? And sure enough, the New York Knicks stood toe-to-toe and battled them throughout before the New York Knicks pulled away. Despite the greatness of Jason Tatum and what kind of show he put on, nobody else had anything that the New York Knicks couldn't handle. Collectively, they showed up, led by Jalen Brunson, the clutch player of the year, the face of this franchise, showing up and showing what a star he truly is. And that's why they won this game.
And now they're just one game away from advancing to the conference finals. You mentioned Jason Tatum, the great game he had, and then the terrible injury late in the game. And so now the Celtics have to try to regroup and win 3 in a row, likely without their best player. What sense do you have of what this series is going to look like the rest of the way?
Well, first order of business, we don't know what happened to him yet. A whole bunch of people are speculating courtside that it's a torn Achilles because it looked very similar to what happened to Kevin Durant years ago in the NBA Finals against Toronto. We hope that's not it, but everybody is of the mindset that's how it looked to the human eye, those of us near courtside watching what transpired to him, so we wish him nothing but the best. As it pertains to the Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown is getting paid $304 million for a reason. This kid Pritchard is 6th man of the year. Al Horford is a champion. Derek White and obviously Drew Holiday, they're champions. We know what they bring to the table, and you can't count them out. But it is safe to say that when you look at the New York Knicks right now, going up against a Boston Celtics team without Jason Tatum, there is no question that the New York Knicks should win this series. You can't lose a 3-1 series lead, even to the reigning defending NBA champions, if they are devoid of their best player. The New York Knicks, if you can't close it out in Boston, you damn sure should be able to close it out at Madison Square Garden for Game 6. That is now the expectation for New Yorkers and New York fans everywhere.
I agree. I couldn't agree more, actually. The New York Knicks actually should be ashamed if they can't close this series out in 5 with Jason Tatum not on the floor and just the performances that they've been able to put up. I mean, the Celtics do have some depth. Jaylen Brown could explode and take over games, but I just don't think that the Celtics have, like I said, the energy, the will to win at this point. I don't even think that the coach really has an answer for the hole that they're in right now. So they need to dig out of a 3-1 deficit, and I don't see that happening. So, Game 5, I think, is going to be really critical for the Knicks to just close it out, and if they want to win so bad in the Garden, I don't think that's necessary. Get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Don't play around with this series and close out in 5. I believe the same thing happened in the semifinals with the Pacers. No, they weren't down 3-1, but the Knicks had an opportunity to close the series and they didn't. And I just, I wouldn't want to see the Celtics come back 3-1, back from down 3-1 on the Knicks' head, especially with Tatum being not on the floor. So they need to close this series out. Yes, if not in 5, but in 6. But I do think that it's shameful if they don't close it out in 6. And I'll be right here to beat up on my Knicks if they don't get this done. Just get it done and go to the Eastern Conference Finals and continue to excite New York Knicks fans in the Garden, from that elusive conference finals that we haven't been able to get to since, in 25 years. So what I will say is that Kendrick Perkins, of course, he spoke very highly of Jalen Brunson. He had quite a bit to say. And the First Take crew, they had some commentary that I thought was interesting surrounding the series and whether or not the Celtics have a chance and whether or not, the Knicks can get this done in 5. So let's hear it.
The Knicks close out this series in Game 5 because these two gentlemen say no. They're expecting a big game from Jaylen Brown in Boston.
I'm not. I'm expecting Big Body Brunson to do what he do best, and that's close out games on the road. He's the best closer in the game right now, especially in the Eastern Conference. Saw what he did to Detroit. Hey, Molly, something about those road games and closeout games that brings out the best of him. Mm-hmm. I just feel like right now, the Celtics, and you know this, you got to have a different type of mental toughness right now, right? Your best player just went out. Jaylen Brown is dealing with a knee injury. I'm not making excuses for Boston, but I'm just calling it how it is. Drew Holiday is banged up. Kristaps Porzingis is sick, on and off. He's not healthy, right? And so now it's a mental thing, right? I heard Brian Windhorst last night. He was talking about how quiet it was in the locker room, how everybody was devastated. You down 3-1. Do you really feel like showing up and competing for this Game 5? Do you really feel like getting this win and getting back on the plane and going through this entire series? Or is this locker room shook? No, it's I'm telling you, Jay, you looking, but it's a different type of mental toughness. This team is dealing with a lot right now, man, is what I'm trying to explain to you. And with Big Body Brunson, he smelled blood. And when he smelled blood, it's a problem. And he closes on the road. I think the Knicks close this at 5.
Big Perk, can I just say something to you? You talk about Drew Holiday being banged up. You talk about Porzingis being sick. You talk about Jaylen Brown's knee hurting. These all sound like damn excuses to me. I don't live in no world of excuses. I know Joe Mazzulla is built the same. You're damn right. if I'm a Boston Celtic, I want to get back on the damn plane. You're damn right. I may look shook for a minute, but this is why I talked to UD about this is going to challenge the character of the Boston Celtic team. I know the character of the Miami Heat. It's sitting right across the table from me. I want to see the character of the Boston Celtics. Now, you would know about that, Big Perk. You played on teams that had defining character in KG and Paul Pierce. Are you telling me they don't have that character to fight at home in a closeout scenario? To beat, now look, Jalen Brunson going to have 3 more shots at closing it out. I'm not saying he can't close it out back at Knicks in Game 6 or back in Boston for Game 7 if it goes that way. But this one, if he gets this one, what does that say about the Boston Celtics? If I'm on the Celtics team, I can't let that happen.
Go ahead, UD.
Hey, listen,
Go ahead.
No, listen, I'm going to say this, Perk, man. We was up on them boys 3-0, and they came back. And I understand this is a different team. They don't have Jason Tatum. They got things going on with Porzingis. Jaylen Brown is not 100%, but I got to believe that there's some heart inside that locker room. Our job and our plan against those guys was to push them for 4 quarters for 48 minutes, and eventually we could break them. At one point, that did work for us. That didn't work for us after a while. They grew up. They grew out of that. Joe Mazzulla came in. The toughness changed. The attitude changed. Jaylen Brown took more of that leadership. I'm going to be the tough guy role. So I don't think that they don't want to get on that plane. I think them dudes got pride, man. They won a championship last year, and they also understand what they're up against right now.
This is what I'm explaining to y'all. I'm not saying they don't have pride. I'm not saying they don't have heart. All I'm saying is, if you don't have that, you don't win a championship. But I know this, when you're going after your first championship, you're starving. You're starving. Trying to repeat, I don't know if you still have that same type of, you may be hungry, but you're not starving. This entire series, I was worried just because, one, of the injuries, and I said this before the series started, that the Knicks had a golden opportunity. I picked the series to go 7. The Knicks had a golden opportunity to pop the Boston Celtics because the injuries, and I was wondering, was they starving again for that second championship? Here's the deal. I just see a Knicks team that are on a mission right now. You know what I mean? I see a Knicks team that's on a mission. I see a Boston team. I don't know. Kristaps Porzingis, he don't know what's going on with him. He's fatigued. He's saying all this. The Knicks ain't trying to hear that. I know Big Body Brunson, he trying to close you out. He ain't trying to waste time. That's what
Let me piggyback on that sentiment. Because now, obviously, up 3-1, the Knicks are huge favorites to win the series. And obviously, remember, the Celtics opened as -900 favorite to beat the Knicks. Not only that, the Knicks are the favorite to win the East, but to make it to the NBA Finals. So here's what I want to know. Would it be a disappointment now, UD, if the Knicks don't reach the Finals?
No, not to me. I'm not guaranteeing. I'm not guaranteeing that they don't go to the finals. I'm not. They got to still go through Indiana. Whoever wins that series. I'm not just going to say just because they beat Boston. And the Knicks didn't come here and go to training camp and put that team together just to beat Boston in the second round. They put that team together to win a championship. They still have to play either Indiana or Cleveland. And last year, if I'm not mistaken, Indiana beat them. Yes, Cleveland had. New York had some injuries, but Indiana beat them. And what we're going to do is we're going to give Indiana their flowers, but they're playing good basketball. And they're not a team that we're just going to say the Knicks just going to run over and go to the finals if they beat Boston. I don't agree with that.
I would say this. Typically, I would agree with you. But the question is it a disappointment if the Knicks do not reach the finals? And here, let me tell you why it is. Because Indiana beat them last year in the Eastern Conference semifinals in Game 7 when Tyrese Halliburton had 26 points and they shot 68% from the field. So regardless of injuries, they got punked in that Game 7. And defense is something that Tibbs has always prided himself on. What did we see them do last night, Big Perk? We saw a team last night, and their strategy was, hey, we're going to switch every pick and roll. We're going to be patient.
I think it's really interesting. A couple things that were said here. And just so you guys know, Indiana Pacers are going to advance to the Eastern Conference Finals for the second year in a row. They have just defeated the Cavaliers. Game wasn't really close, but the score looks a lot closer than it was. Now the OKC game versus Denver Nuggets is on. OKC came out aggressive. They were up at 5 points when I last checked in the game. It was 7-2. So, really excited to continue to watch that game. I'm going to get you guys out of here soon. We just have 2 topics left, but yeah, we can go ahead and move on to the Golden State Warriors and the T-Wolves game. I think, just to sort of tack on to what Kendrick Perkins was saying and what Udonis Haslem was saying, like he's basically saying, hey, the Celtics are the defending champs. They have fight in them. They're not just going to lay down and let the Knicks beat them. But I actually think that they are going to lay down and let the Knicks beat them. I think they want to be put out of their misery at this point. Like I said, I think that they are resting on their laurels because they have a title from last season. And it's just kind of like, okay, well, if we continue playing, like how far are we going to win the title this year without Tatum? So they might as well just eliminate themselves as far as I'm concerned. But really happy that the Knicks have this chance. They're up 3-1, and hopefully they don't blow it. Hopefully Tibbs doesn't blow it for their team, and hopefully they can stay healthy. Last season, when they played the Indiana Pacers, injuries really got them. The whole team pretty much was injured and trying to play through injury, and that's what really stunted their season. So we're going to see. We're going to see what they do with the Pacers in the next round. And what that's going to look like is, are we going to be shouting "What the Hallie," or are we going to be shouting "Captain Clutch"? So, something tells me we're going to be shouting "Captain Clutch." They definitely want a piece of Halliburton since last season. They want their revenge. The Knicks are, locked and loaded, and they're ready to, they're ready to get revenge on the Pacers for what they did last season to them. And, they undressed the Knicks last season. Yes, they were injured. No, they weren't full strength. But, this season, what's going to be the excuse? If everybody from the Knicks is out on the floor, they've acquired Anthony Towns, they picked up Mikal Bridges. So, what would be the excuse? Is this going to be the series that they miss Dante DiVincenzo shooting? I think it might be. So, the Knicks are going to have to they're going to have to put the clamps on the Pacers, especially Halliburton. They're going to have to completely shut him down. They're going to have to, figure out how to defend this team in a way that demoralizes them. And I think that's what they need to do. It's going to be a psychological series as well. So, shout out to the New York Knicks and the Pacers. I think that they will wind up facing them. I mean, the Celtics don't seem to have a chance. I do think that they're pretty much done for. So, yes, congratulations to Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers. Rick Carlisle as well. They have been a great coach team. They've been playing really good basketball, and I think that it is important to give them credit for that, for sure. So, I think now is a really good time for us to move on to the Golden State Warriors game versus the Timberwolves. That's been an interesting series, and mainly for the storyline. Steph Curry has not been available to play. He's out with a hamstring injury. Draymond Green, flagrant fouling and acting out, and has finally tried to, he's beginning to take the series seriously. Him and Jimmy Butler, they have been expected to step up for the team, and I have yet to see that actually happen. So Jimmy Butler, he came out aggressive in this last game, but it didn't actually connect to the box score. He didn't have as great of an impact on scoring as I wanted him to. Draymond Green is just not a scorer, so him really trying to step up into this role, score the basketball more, I appreciated the effort. That's what we saw. They came out in the first half, and they finished the first half well. I think that they had a chance to win this game, but pretty much they came out in the second half and got blown out. That's basically what happened. So, and just when we go straight into the team stats and we take a look at this game, Golden State Warriors, I can't say that there was anything that they did better. They shot better from the free throw line, but they shot more times, so their percentage was lower. They didn't assist the ball better. They had one more stop than Minnesota. They just, Minnesota turned the ball over so much that they created opportunities for Golden State Warriors to score, and they just couldn't. I think scoring with Golden State was to me the biggest issue for their team going down 3-1 is that they can't score without Steph Curry. That's just really the bottom line. They cannot score without Steph Curry. And they were able to take advantage of the turnovers, but it wasn't enough. They couldn't score on their own. They needed a turnover in order to score. And I think that's the issue. They outscored Minnesota in the paint 54-42. But when we take a look at the box score and, what Golden State was able to do, like I said, scoring was an issue. Jonathan Kuminga was their highest scorer on the team, 23 points. Kuminga is the guy. Kerr doesn't even like Kuminga. And so when we take a look, at this and we take a look at how many shots Podziemski was able to take. 14 shots, really? Why is Podziemski putting up the most shots? Steve Kerr, I think there's moments where he's incompetent in coaching. It's like, I really do think that he's suffering from dementia or something. Why It's like every season he falls in love with a player and it gives them high minutes. And I don't understand this. 14 shots. He shot 0% from 3. When were you going to take him out of the game? 33 minutes you're giving to Podziemski? Please. He's not that good. When Kuminga is the highest scorer on the floor, that's a problem. Butler, he didn't have it. He got to the line 5 times. He made 4 or 5 free throws, 0% from 3. He only took 9 shots. Podziemski's out here taking all the shots. Draymond Green is taking more shots than Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's a better shooter than Draymond Green. He's better at attacking the rim. What is this? We need to see a big game from Jimmy Butler in order for them to have any chance in this series, and they have no chance. Jimmy Butler needed to explode. Draymond Green, 14 points. I mean, that's better than what he's been showing us. So 2 3-pointers. Like, I'm not going to cry about that from Draymond Green, but Jimmy Butler is not delivering. He's just not delivering. And I think that he's not as explosive as he once was. And I think that we're seeing the sunset of Jimmy Butler. Yes, he has a major impact, but he's not scoring explosively. He's not turning into playoff Jimmy. I'm not seeing playoff Jimmy here. And that's what the Golden State Warriors need in the absence of Steph Curry. And when we take a look at what happened in this third quarter, this is what decided the game. It was the third quarter. Timberwolves went absolutely blood on the Warriors. They made 5 3-pointers. They got busy in the paint. Warriors just couldn't score the ball. It was too much. It was just too much. And so Anthony Edwards spoke after the game. Draymond Green spoke after the game. And here's the first soundbite. Anthony Edwards, what I like about him is the fact that he wants to be the kind of leader that really reaches back and lifts up his teammates. He wants to celebrate their good performances. And, he wants to make it clear that basketball is a team sport. And, he's not going to take all of the credit for the wins. He really wants to spread that around. He believes his teammates are the real MVPs. So this is what he had to say.
A. Smith was in the building for.
Oh, that's not it.
And you really got going in the third quarter, both individually and as a team. Like, what did you find or what changed to get you guys rolling the way that you did?
At halftime, coach came in and just said, we playing like we already won the series pretty much. And I don't really like that. I didn't like how we was playing overall, and I didn't like how I was playing individually. So I know I had to pick it up.
What had to change the most, or what did you change?
Our defense. We was letting Jonathan Kuminga just get everywhere he wanted to go. Draymond was pushing the pace. We wasn't impacting the ball unless he was crossing half court. Offensive rebounds, we wasn't boxing out. We wasn't limiting those guys to one shot. Just game plan mistakes that can't happen if you want to be the championship team and if you want to go to the finals or Western Conference Finals. At least you can't let those things happen. So we gotta be better.
And what is it like when you get in one of those runs like you were offensively there in the third quarter?
It's the best feeling ever.
Did it start with that shot that you made at the end of the first half? Kind of get you going?
Probably. Yeah, that was a nice shot for me. It got me going.
And Fitch was saying that you were one of the most vocal guys at halftime tonight. Were you delivering some of that message you were just talking about before? Like, what was your message to the team at halftime?
Yeah, I told them we only got 2 wins. I've never seen a series end 2-1. So I told them, we got to get 2 more wins. And right now we playing like we already got 4 wins. Like we playing like they're gonna lay down. And knowing this team, knowing their head coach, they're never gonna lay down. So we had to figure it out, man. Because if we would have kept playing like that, we would have lost tonight.
And I was inside talking to a couple of your teammates about your run in the third quarter, what it was like, and they said you could hear the pain in the crowd. When you're on the road, you can hear the pain in the crowd. What does that do for you when you hear that?
Oh, it's just satisfaction. Just the best satisfaction ever.
And what's your leadership role and Julius's leadership role in this group, and how do you guys play well off of each other's games?
Leadership roles is not really. It's not really about it. I don't really think it's about like our roles. It's just about certain things that have to be said at certain times because you can't get comfortable, man. You can't get comfortable in the NBA, especially not the playoffs. And just learning how to play off of Drew. Just when he in the post, knowing when to cut, knowing when to space for him, just reading him, man. And I think the more we play together, the better we've got. For me, being able to read him, when to be ready to shoot, when to cut, when to screen for him, when to get out his way. Because man, he'll force when he going downhill, man. He had to go on tonight. It was exciting to watch. I told him he cold.
And I heard you when you were coming into the locker room at halftime, just telling your teammates that they got to do a better job of finding you so you can help them. Do you feel like that was something that happened and helped get you going in the third?
Yeah, for sure. And it was all Jaden, honestly. Because me and Jay, I talk to Jaden the most. Like I tell Jaden all the time. I come up to him in timeouts, like, hey, these dudes, the way they guard you, boom, you got to be in actions with me, you know. And I think one play he drove to the corner, strung the defense out, and then curled around and DHO to me and set a great screen, and I walked into a tray ball. So yeah, it's usually Jade most of the time because he gets the ball, he pushes. If he ain't got nothing, I tell him come right back to me and trust me. So big shout out to Jade.
Hey, and in the first quarter, it looked like after you hit a three, you were talking on the sideline to Steph, and saw the video of you pregame having some fun with the night. You know, how tough is it to not have that player on the court competing against you, to have someone to have that game within the game against, and how do you keep that even though he's not in the game?
Sometimes it's tough, but trust me, man, I wish he could be out there to play against him, no matter how it goes. But yeah, just from working out with him in the summer, that's what I told him after I hit a Tracy, because he told me I had missed one. He was like, "You weren't gonna make that. You was too open." And I was like, "I ain't gonna never stop shooting him. I learned that from you this summer." So yeah, man, he's the greatest shooter of all time. So I would definitely love to compete against him, man. But you know, he got hurt, unfortunately, and I hope he gets better.
And just wanted to talk about that moment you shared with Gary Payton. Obviously, got his jersey in your hand.
Yeah.
Just talk about that moment, how dope it is that you got these legends, you know, coming up to you, kind of giving you your props and stuff too.
He didn't really come up to me. I came up to him. I don't think he's the type of guy to go up to nobody and give anybody props anyway. So I went up to him because, of course, I hear all the stuff about him, and then I go watch film on him. And he was really like that. So I told him, like, man, I'm a big fan, and I love the way you guard it, man. And even offensively, he had a lot of games. You know what I'm saying? So, and his son kind of played defense similar to him. His son, super handsy, physical. So, yeah, big shout out to him.
And at what point of the regular season did it like register in your head that Julius had like this level of offensive game and being able to do what he's been able to do in this series?
You said during the regular season?
Yeah, like when did you realize?
I think when he came back from injury, man. When he came back from injury, it was just like, it was like a whole different person. Yeah, pretty much. I don't even really know what else to say. It just, when he came back from injury for that Phoenix game, it was like, oh yeah, we might be on to something. So yeah, I think that was a turning point.
And even when you've had big games, you're conscious about saying Jaden's MVP or singling out, you know, Nas or Julius or whoever. Why is that important to you to be like their biggest cheerleader?
That's what it's about, man. Want to see your teammates succeed. Want to see your teammates shine. Not even my teammates, my brothers. I mean, we're going to battle every night. We play 82 games. We be with each other 8-9 months out of the year. So those guys like my brothers, man. And it's nothing like seeing them compete and produce at a high level, because you know that makes everybody happy. And I can't wait to come in here and praise them every chance I get, because I know everybody want to give me the credit, but I can't do it without those guys. So yeah, they the MVP every night, every single night, man. They come and play. They play their balls off, and I can't ask them for nothing better.
I love Anthony Edwards as the face of the league. I think he's great. You know, does he have personal things that, you know, are not the most favorable? Of course, but I think he says the right things post game. He congratulates his teammates. He never takes all of the credit. He wants them to know how special and how important they are. And I think you really need to do that. You need to be able to reach back and lift up your team, especially if you want to win a title. So to me, he has the ingredients of a good team leader that's really encouraging, inspiring to his teammates. He recognizes that the Julius Randle trade was you know, it worked out. It worked out for Minnesota, and I think he values him. And I just think that Anthony Edwards, he says the right things post game, and it seems genuine and authentic. So, you know, salute to Anthony Edwards. You know, again, real competitors, they don't want to play against teams that are down their star players. Anthony Edwards takes pride in knocking off these old heads. Period. When you take a look at, you know, the way that he swept Kevin Durant last year, gentlemen swept LeBron James and Luka Doncic this year. This year, it's about to be probably another gentleman sweep for the Warriors. He's going to knock off Steph Curry. He's trying to sunset these players that are older, and he's trying to say, "Hey, I'm going to kill everything in front of me, and I'm going to win." So, you know, I would love to see him get back to the Western Conference Finals. It looks like that's what's going to happen. It looks like this trade for Karl Anthony Towns, it worked out perfectly for both teams. So I'm here to say it first that I was wrong about this trade. Both Minnesota and the Knicks are going to the conference finals. I predicted a first round knockout for both teams. I predicted that both players were going to be the reason why these teams lost. And Julius Randle is balling with the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's playing much better basketball than he ever has. This is his best. This is the best version of Julius Randle that I've ever seen. He's playing his best basketball. And again, I think the small market of Minnesota really suits him. The lights, the pressure, the lights were just too bright in New York. The pressure was too real. They ate him up in the media. And I just think that, he mentally, he's just doing so much better in Minnesota. And I love to see it. I'm glad that this is better for him. I'm glad that Karl Anthony Towns, the pressure has been on Karl Anthony Towns to perform. And he's standing up. He's standing tall. He's standing on business and he's taking care of business. So salute to New York Knicks and the Timberwolves for, being on their way to the conference finals. Just incredible. Draymond Green, it was funny because Draymond Green, he hasn't been able to help the Golden State Warriors the way that people are looking for him to be able to do in Steph Curry's absence. Obviously, he's moving the ball. He is trying to score the ball, trying to defend, and it's just not enough. His leadership is obviously not enough for the Warriors either. And he has issues, Draymond Green. He's had a lot of issues with the media. He talked about being an angry black man earlier in the season. That didn't land well with others in the media, and he was called out for it. Like, hey, Draymond, you're just a dirty player. This has nothing to do with an angry black man. The offenses that you're committing are against other black players. So miss me with the bullshit today. But he tries to be apologetic with the media post game. And I thought it was absolutely hilarious. And the funny thing is that I don't really give a damn if Draymond Green talks to the media or not. He just thinks so much of himself. He's completely insufferable. And I want to play for you guys what he had to say. It was a short clip, not too long. So let's hear it.
It hung around for a little while. We were watching that one together. Anthony Edwards, man, he just really took over. He's an outstanding player. And the Golden State Warriors can't.
Oh, no, that's not it. I think it's this one. Whoops.
Right now, they look like they could, they could fit the bill and try.
Oh, wait, where is it?
Golden State's game 4 loss.
On being down 3-1 in a series, Roman, what's the mindset as you go into game 5?
Before I start, I want to apologize to y'all. I didn't talk the other day. I was quite a bit frustrated and very careful of. I didn't want to get myself fined, but more so say something to make it sound like an excuse. Struggle and lose. And I didn't come up here and talk, and I felt like a coward when I got home, so I wanted to apologize to y'all for that. As far as 3, we just got to win a game. Win one game, take it from there. I think that's our mindset. Do all that we can, figure out a way to win one. You win one, everything changes. So that'll be our mindset going into game 5.
Draymond, players like Ant are going to get theirs at some point in the game, but do you think that tonight was more a lack of a defensive effort on you guys or just some star power that they had?
They get shots. They shot the ball extremely well. I thought we defended good in spurts, but they got going and we never was able to put out the fire. So got to give them a lot of credit. Kind of felt like they were due for a great shooting night. Sucks that it had to be tonight, but it was, and we just got to figure it out coming back in game 5.
I thought it was interesting that he mentioned that he felt like a coward because he didn't speak to the media. I mean, nobody cares. Honestly, I didn't really care. And I do think that, again, there was no amount of defense that could have helped the Warriors because they just didn't have the offense. So to me, that's the long and the short of this game. And yeah, that's really just it. I think that the Warriors are knocked out in this round. I think that the window for Steph Curry winning titles is beginning to close rapidly. I just don't know how much longer he's going to be able to contend with the roster that he has, and the Warriors are going to have to look to retool next season, clearly. And I think that they need a different leader in the locker room. I think they need a new voice. I think they need a new coach. Steve Kerr, I just don't think that he's the right coach for the Warriors. Playing Podziemski 33 minutes and investing in a player like that just, he sucks. He's not that good. And Steve Kerr does this every year. He falls in love with a bench player, invests a lot of minutes in them, and they're not good. So I think Steve Kerr has dementia, and I think he needs to retire. But that's just me. There were the guys from Game Time, Jalen Rose, and that crew. They had some things to say about this series, and I want to play it for you guys. I enjoy Jalen Rose. I didn't love the fact that he was let go from ESPN, but here's the sound on the Warriors and the Timberwolves game. Let's hear it now.
It hung around for a little while. We were watching that one together. Anthony Edwards, man, he just really took over. He's an outstanding player, and the Golden State Warriors can't win this series without Steph Curry, and that's obvious. So Anthony Edwards understands there's a sense of urgency, and I appreciate his aggression offensively to score the ball, shooting threes, driving it to the bucket. The shot that he made at the end of the second quarter, the three-pointer against a double team, that's just a player growing into their game. Because when you're as athletic as he is, when you watch him play, and I found myself doing it time and time again, I'm like, take it to the basket, take it to the basket, take it to the basket. And then you realize he's leading the league in threes and he's shooting 10 threes a game, and he's actually making them at a high clip. And so the way his game has developed, along with his leadership, along with Julius Randle, they look poised to go ahead and close the series out.
Yeah, man. Without Steph being out there with them, it just shows they run out of gas. I mean, again, you're looking for the big game. They didn't have anybody. They had Kuminga go for 23, Jimmy had 14, Draymond had 14. 13 11. You needed somebody of this starting lineup. You needed a Buddy Hield. You needed Jimmy. You needed one of them guys to go off and have a big game. And I'm under the same thinking that Jay Rose is. If they don't get Steph Curry back, they can't beat this team. And even if, at this point, I think even if Steph comes back, it still could be over.
But Q, I got to ask you something. So let me get this right. Pozinski takes 14 shots.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Butler takes none. How do we get there in a big game like this when we all woke up this morning knowing Steph Curry wasn't going to play?
You need to play off Jimmy. You need to play off Jimmy, more aggressive, more shots. For whatever reason, that didn't happen.
He was a team worst, minus 30 in this game, Jimmy Butler. And he's coming off that game where he had the 33 points. He was really aggressive from the get-go. But this is more like game one. And again, does this come down to a mindset thing? Because he has said this, hey, I can go out, I can score 40. But he needs to do it almost every single night. That should be a given right now without Steph Curry. Well, he went to the podium and said, Steph is Batman, and he's Robin. Right? So Steph is out now. We need his aggression to be up. We need his activity, his shot attempts. He need to wake up and say, I'm taking 25 shots regardless. That's the kind of mentality they're going to need him to have if they're going to extend the series. It almost feels like, as a Warriors fan anyway, you'd like to see your team go down with him maybe shooting 10 to 25 from the field, but knowing he got those 25 up with the chance to win that game. But again, he's not getting much help. I mean, Jonathan Kuminga, again, 23, which is nice off the bench. But besides that, Draymond had 14, I guess that's a bonus there. But they need Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield in the, games in the last series, game 7, and then game 1 of this series are really stepping up. But in this one, just 13 points. And that's what happens when Steph Curry goes out of the game. So now all of a sudden, the coverage that he was getting, we're going to lock in on Buddy Hield now. We're going to lock in on everybody else to try to shut their water off and keep their percentages low. And that's another reason why it's imperative that Jimmy Butler is aggressive offensively, to make it easier for the guys around him, because he's been that type of player that's led a team to the finals. He's a guy that they just gave a 2-year extension to when he got over here to Golden State. So this is the stage that they're going to need him to perform at a high level. Julius Randle on the other side of things, again, getting it done, 31 points and 11 to 21 shooting, man. He just continues to impress.
Yeah, I like the way he's finding his way in his rhythm and where to get his shots off. I mean, I think it took him a little minute, but I think he's settling in, and now he's, him and Ant on the same page, and everybody, sometimes, Jay, it takes time to get used to how somebody plays, and they have to learn and figure out how to play together and play off each other, and I think they figuring it out at the perfect time, and right now in these playoffs, they playing well off each other. And watching the games tonight, there's two teams, the Knicks and now Minnesota up 3-1. Usually a trade doesn't work out for both sides as well as it has. Great point. In this case, Karl-Anthony Towns, what he's given them, the big game he had tonight, efficient grabbing boards, Julius Randle, 30 points, along with Anthony Edwards scoring 30. And so that allows everybody else, McDaniels, and what's my guy? I'm trying to think of his name. DiVincenzo. Dante DiVincenzo. It allowed, when Randle's aggressive to match Anthony Edwards, it allows guys like McDaniels and DiVincenzo to get off. And before you know it, it became an avalanche. And at the end of the game, it says 7 points, but that really was a blowout. Yeah. That really was a 20-point blowout, and Minnesota was in command the entire time. This was a great example of the depth Minnesota has, right? I mean, they got these two superstars or two stars, right, getting their 61 points, but then you look across their lineup, 10, 13, 9, 13. I mean, they got offensive production and defensive production. No, and that's what makes them dangerous. I mean, when you look at everything that's going on in the playoffs right now, you got to look at Minnesota and say they have a legit chance right now. They check a lot of boxes. They got athleticism. They got the big-time superstar. They got a 1-2 punch with him and Rand.
I loved this commentary because I felt super validated by the fact that, like, Podziemski has no business taking 14 shots. I don't understand Steve Kerr's strategy with that. He's not that great of a shooter. He kind of sucks. So I just, again, throwing in a streaky shooter and expecting that to be your difference maker and your X factor, I just think is hilarious. It's lightweight hilarious, as LeBron would say. But Jalen Rose, he made a really critical point, and I'm going to play this for you guys. It's pretty short, but he said something that I want you guys to hear.
Right now, they look like they could, they could fit the bill and try and make a run right now.
And as we see the changing of the guard with a lot of the older players like KD and Kawhi and LeBron and not in the playoffs at this point of the year, it reminds me that Indiana was in the conference finals last year. So was Minnesota.
Yeah.
So now they have the experience of being there also because they were in that position last season.
I guess if you're going to nitpick, the one thing that maybe Chris Finch is going to talk to his team about is turnovers. 20 turnovers in this game, leading 24 points. You kind of take that away.
Yeah.
And they're going to take away Golden State a lot quicker.
Yeah, got to take care of the ball. I mean, obviously, coach is going to always coach and find something to nitpick about, especially when, you got a young squad, AE out there talking and chirping.
You notice he said with the changing of the guard. Changing of the guard. So Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, all these guys, they're out of here. They're about to be gone out of the playoffs. And he said that, and he said it, and it was subtle, and he just continued in his take. But these guys need to pack it up. All of them need to retire. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, I would love to see them retire like nowish. Steph Curry, maybe in a year or two. It's time. It's time. And I want to ask you guys, who do we think is going to win a title first? Will it be Ant-Man? Will Anthony Edwards win a title first, or will it be Tyrese Halliburton? What do you guys think? They're both probably, T-Wolves are likely headed to the Western Conference Finals for the second year in a row. So are the Pacers. So who do we think has a better chance of winning a title first? So can the T-Wolves beat OKC? I think Denver's going to beat OKC. That's what I think. I mean, Denver's up by 2 right now in this game. I think that they're going to walk OKC down. I think that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is, he's got to come up big in every single game in order for OKC to win. Even though they have the depth, even though they're the better team from, top to bottom, it's obvious that the NBA is going to try to make this a close series. They're going to give Jokic the whistle quite a bit. Flopping could fail. Flopping could fail for Jokic, but I do think that the T-Wolves have a really great chance of beating OKC, because OKC is probably not going to make it. So I don't think they have to worry about OKC. I think they need to worry about Denver in the Western Conference Finals. I think that that's the team that they're going to have to look forward to beating. But I do think that they have Denver's number. I think that they'll be able to beat Denver. But we'll see. We'll see. More to come. I would love to see OKC get out of this round, but I just don't know if they have what it takes to ensure that the games are a blowout. The games need to be a blowout. They need to be blowing Jokic and the Nuggets off the floor in order to win this series, because the NBA is not going to go for Jokic just getting eliminated fair and square. So they're going to help him. They're going to help the Nuggets. They're going to help this series be a close series. And OKC they've got to come up big. They've got to be beating Denver by 10 plus points every game in order for it to stick. So Poole was a favorite of Kerr's. So Jordan Poole was a favorite of Steve Kerr's, and I thought that it was ridiculous that they were relying on him and thinking that he was this, generational player or whatever they thought. I thought that he was fun to watch at times, but he wasn't consistent. He was streaky. Jordan Poole is a streaky player, and we saw that when he went to the Wizards. I haven't seen anything amazing out of him with the Wizards. Did he have a better second year there? Yes, he did, but I don't think Jordan Poole is spectacular by any means. Would I have kept him and continued to make him the backup guard for Steph Curry? Absolutely. He's a good backup, but he belongs at the end of the bench, not as a starting point guard, in my opinion. So he came from the G League. He proved himself on the Warriors. But again, Steph Curry has a way of making other guards look really good because they're getting wide open looks. Steph Curry's going to be double and triple teamed. Of course, the ball should go in Jordan Poole's hand and he should be able to shoot it and make it. But he didn't always make it. He was streaky. So I wasn't a huge Jordan Poole fan. But yes, guys, we're here. I see 87 people in the room with us. Do me a favor and like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. But it's really important to share the video out there to your social media. Let's get the word about Sports Tea out. Share this with your friends and family if you like the content, and let's grow the community. So you think that the Knicks and the T-Wolves will be the finals matchup, WH Braswell? That's a really good take. I love that. I would love for my Knicks to get back to the finals. It's been so many years since they've been there. What was it? It was 2000, and I think it was the year 2000 or 2001 they were there, or maybe it was 1999. I just remember they went to the finals up against the Spurs. It was an incredible series, and they could have and they should have won, but they lost. So hopefully this is their year. I would love to see it, and it would have made their trade for Karl Anthony Towns not just successful, but essentially the reason why they've made it this year. So yes, congratulations to the Knicks, congratulations to the T-Wolves, both headed to the conference finals potentially, right? So they still have one more game to win, and I think both teams can do it, and I look forward to seeing them both battle it out against these teams in the Western Conference Finals, whomever should be there. So the playoffs, I think, are a really great time of year. I think that it's probably the best time of the year for the NBA. It's the most special time for fans. It's a time where we get to see the best teams compete, the best players on the floor, and the best competition, the most physical defense we're going to see. We're going to see players. This is what we see when it matters, right? We see them hitting shots when their career is on the line, right? And we've seen some of the best playoff moments in history from Michael Jordan, and I look forward to our next topic because Michael Jordan is coming back to the NBA, and he's coming back to the NBA in a big way. Obviously, NBC is taking the contract over again, and that's huge. I miss the NBA on NBC. I think most people do that have, any memory of that time. The din, 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 din. Everybody loves that sound. I think it brings back really fond memories, really great series that we've seen, really great basketball, whether it was regular season or postseason. We didn't really differentiate back then. Now today it's like, oh, the best competition is in the playoffs, but Michael Jordan, he's coming back to be a contributor on NBC. And this news was broken just yesterday. That's when I found out about it. And I have to say, I'm just so excited. I think this is great for basketball. I think it's great for NBA fans. I think this solves for some of the nostalgia that we've been looking for. And it's funny because we don't hear anything from Michael Jordan. He's mysterious. He's like this mythical figure that we never see, we never hear from. And all of a sudden, he's popping back into all of our lives and into all of our households to be a contributor for NBC, one of the largest networks in the world. So, it just begs the question, why now? I'm curious, why is now Michael Jordan coming back to the NBA? I get it. NBC, it played a big role in Michael Jordan's career. He's had some of his biggest, best, most famous interviews on NBC. So I can understand why he feels like he wants to be part of it. But at the same time, he's never wanted to be part of the media. He's never wanted to contribute to anything, really. So when we see him, it's like a little gift. I remember not being able to play with Michael Jordan in NBA Live, and just growing up when I was playing my PlayStation and playing basketball and in video games, Michael Jordan wasn't available. He's always been this mysterious figure in sports and in basketball in particular. So, for him to come back and contribute to NBC, I think it's a huge deal. It's a big deal. And, I can't help but wonder if Michael Jordan is coming back to say goodbye to LeBron James. Like LeBron James's career should be sunsetting. Is this a sign that LeBron is going to finally retire? That's what I'm hoping. So Michael Jordan left the league. He left the NBA as LeBron was coming in. So he retired in 2002. Finally, that was the final season that he played in the sport. And then LeBron James comes in the fall. And it's been, I guess, 20 plus years of manufacturing, 20 plus years of basketball just going down the tubes, in the NBA ratings completely plummeting and just tanking, right? I mean, sheesh. LeBron James has left the NBA in shambles, and they're trying to build it back up. They're trying to manufacture new stars. They're trying to create, trades that are going to be exciting and sort of just, reignite and rejuvenate NBA fans, right? That's what they're trying to do. So Stephen A. Smith, he was able to sound off on MJ joining NBC as a contributor. I'll play that for you guys now. I'm so excited about this. It's just such an exciting time, I think, for the sport to hear from, the GOAT, the guy that many people believe is the GOAT. I actually don't believe in the greatest of all time. I think it's a ridiculous discussion to have. But if we have to pick, if we have a gun to our head, who is, the greatest of all time, most people are going to say Michael Jordan. That's what people are still saying to this day, no matter how long, no matter how long LeBron plays, no matter how many records he breaks, they're still saying that it's Michael Jordan. So I think that that's really interesting. And I want to play for you guys the sound from Stephen A. Smith. And here's what he had to say about MJ coming back to NBC as a contributor.
Will serve as a special contributor to NBC's upcoming NBA coverage, the network announced. Stephen A.
In what capacity? That's what I want to know. Let me
As
tell
a
you.
contributor,
A contributor in what regard? You know what I'm saying? I mean,
analysis.
All right, an analysis. Well, first of all, obviously, we are talking about the GOAT, the greatest ever. Okay, so certainly the qualifications are there. I just want to know, because that's my brother. Yes, I love my brother, Michael Jordan. I just want to know, is it going to be the Michael Jordan, that you see on television? Or is it going to be the Michael Jordan we speak to? Because it's the Michael Jordan we speak to, oh, it's going to be epic. It's going to be epic. Yeah, this brother, the things that he will say and the way that he says them and the way that he breaks them down, Lord have mercy, Molly. That's on another level. You understand? But if it's NBC and the little kids out there are watching, and he wants to mind his manners about every little syllable he utters, he'll be all right. But that brother ain't used to being all right. He used to being great. And I'm telling you, as somebody who has spoken to him about basketball on many, many, many occasions over the years, over the decades, obviously, he knows what the hell he's talking about, okay? And he don't mince words.
Hey, just as an NBA fan, this is amazing. I can't wait to see him on
Michael
TV.
Jordan from Grove 23.
Man, oh, Lord. Let me get a pound on that one. Let me get a pound on that one right there. That brother,
that's the man that all of us NBA players idolize and talk about.
Listen,
I want to hear that.
Listen, when he got the cigar in his mouth, it's a different cat. It's a different cat that just took it. When the man got the cigar, okay, they said, NBC, my advice.
Let him have the cigar.
Let him have the cigar. Let him have the cigar.
Regardless of what Michael shows up, I'm sure we can all learn a thing or two. But I want to get back to our breaking news out of the NBA. After another early playoff exit, Bucks star.
Wow. It's so funny that Stephen A. says that, are we going to get the real deal Michael Jordan? Is he going to be polite? I'm curious to see in which way he's going to contribute to NBC as a contributor. Michael Jordan doesn't come out criticizing basketball players for the most part, unless he's asked. So, Michael Jordan doesn't really come for anybody unless they send for him. And that's been what I see. And I just don't know that it's going to be set up in a way, in a traditional sense, where he's just going to be commenting on games and players and, taking part in the GOAT debate. I highly doubt that Michael Jordan is going to participate in the GOAT debate. And if he does, he's going to shut that discussion down. I don't think he cares for that discussion. He never has when he was playing. So I think that he might address it in a way that completely kills the entire discussion amongst the media. I think he might address the GOAT discussion in a way that finally kills this discussion. And maybe that's his plan. Maybe he wants to bring NBA fans back together. What I can say about the last 20 plus years is it's been extremely divisive. The NBA's been a divisive place. LeBron James is one of the most polarizing athletes in the history of the NBA that we've seen. And I mean, there's just been so much hate all over the internet, whether it's for LeBron fans or Jordan fans, or they've just completely divided the community. This GOAT debate discussion, when you have a player anointing himself as the greatest of all time, saying that he's better than every other generation that played, saying things like, Wilt Chamberlain was just bigger, stronger, faster. He wasn't actually smart. These guys didn't mind the game. They didn't think the game. When you're out here, you can't even take the final shot in a game, and you're saying that other guys are not smart. So I think that Michael Jordan is probably coming back to kill these kinds of discussions. And I think it's just going to be so, things are going to get surgical in a minute. Okay. Clutch Sports, they are clenching their pearls right now. Because do you think that Michael Jordan is going to let people keep lying about the sport? Let them keep lying about the way 90s basketball was played? Let them keep lying about the stars that he played with? I don't think so. So I think Michael Jordan coming back to network television, I think that kills a lot of narratives. I think that it will expose Clutch Sports in a public way that, is just going to be so embarrassing. Hopefully, this will force LeBron James Clutch Sports to be much more professional, have a little bit more respect. But I got to tell you, I'm sure that they are clenching their pearls. LeBron fans all over, they don't know what to do with themselves. They're scared that their lies are going to be exposed and that people are going to love Michael Jordan even more. Because that's what happened when he came out with The Last Dance. People love Jordan more. People that didn't even know Michael Jordan and announced, hey, I don't know what I was thinking. He's the GOAT. Everybody stop what they're doing to watch that documentary, not the finals. You have to remember, Jordan's Last Dance drew in more ratings than the NBA finals that year. LeBron James playing in the finals did less views than Michael Jordan's Last Dance, and he hasn't been playing for 30 years. Rob Parker and Kelvin Washington, they also sounded off about Michael Jordan returning to NBC as a contributor. I have to say, and I just want to preface this with, Kelvin Washington is awful. Rob Parker, if you ever listen to this, if you're going to hear it, I really think you need a different co-host. I don't think that Kelvin Washington shouldn't have a voice in sports. I think he just needs his own channel. I think he needs to be solo. I think Rob Parker, you do very well with a co-host. You just need a different one. Kelvin Washington talks over you. And I don't prefer, the chemistry just doesn't feel very good to me. And yes, he's constantly interrupting you, and it really just long soliloquies. And I think that, I don't know, I think they need to shake up on The Odd Couple. But here's what they had to say about MJ coming back to NBC, and we'll react, and then I'll open up the phone lines.
Depending on what they have, I'm not so sure how open and honest Jordan's going to be. And the documentary is different because remember, him and Charles Barkley fell out over Charles having comments about him. So this is what I'm trying to say is, are we really expecting Michael Jordan to take people to task? You know what I mean? Or really
that's why you don't put him in that position, because you're right.
The only way, I got to be honest, I could see him even remotely being successful at doing this is just like a kind of once a month, sit down, talk with somebody, and maybe get into somebody just about their feelings about basketball and what they like and see. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like Mike making a connection to a younger player. But like criticizing a coach or criticizing or having a debate on whether or not you're the GOAT, I don't see any of that making sense for Michael Jordan.
But he might also enjoy
I just don't.
He might also enjoy, meaning I don't like to be the butt of the joke, meaning Charles talking about me as an owner and this, that, and the other.
No, but
I don't mind
it's not a butt of a joke. He was being honest about Michael Jordan's ability.
But you know what I'm saying? Some people can be honest. Some people can give it. They can't take it. And I'm saying, so maybe he couldn't take it, but he'd be comfortable giving it a little bit.
I really don't see that in Michael Jordan. I would be surprised of him criticizing other people.
That's why I love to see him do breakdowns. So when you see Alex Rodriguez getting that batter box, not literally, but kind of breaking down in that batter, I would love to see Jordan. Boom. This is where I'm talking about. SGA's getting to the elbow. This is where I used to kill people right here because everybody thought about me as your airness, but I'm also, putting up buckets in mid-range fadeaway. That kind of stuff. Like, man, putting us insight into the GOAT. What did he do? Talk about footwork. Talk about the tenacity. Talk about the mental aspect of the game. Like, that's where Kobe was going to be great. It was post-career, obviously, before his
I don't know.
early demise.
I look at Michael Jordan, and I would rather see him have conversations.
Yeah.
Not nuts and bolts, not doing tape or anything like that. Like that should be for coaches. I would love to see if he can get these guys to talk about basketball and it's in a standpoint of, like when they fell in love with it, what is it about the game? Like a little deeper dive into.
See, I don't know, but that's where I actually would go to.
I liked Rob Parker's take on it. Calvin Washington, like I said, he's interrupting him and just like interrupting him to say that maybe Michael Jordan can't take criticism, but he can give it. I don't think Michael Jordan cares about criticism per se. He cares about loyalty and respect. His relationships are probably grounded in trust, loyalty, and respect. And so when Charles Barkley spoke out against him as an owner, he took that personally. They were best friends, or they were really close friends at the very least. And so for his friend to do him like that and to criticize him in that way, I think it's one thing for you to say, you know what, like Michael Jordan, he was a great player. I think that him, transitioning to front office work, he's, it's going to take him some time. There's things that he needs to work on. But what Charles Barkley said, he pretty much said that he was an awful owner. That the people that he picked in his decision making was poor. And I think that there's a way to say that in a different way. So it's not just what Charles Barkley said, it was how he said it about his so-called friend, somebody that he thought highly of. And so Michael Jordan, in his mind, people widely regard him as the GOAT in sports. It felt like probably to him, from his perspective, like, hey, this is a guy that's been my friend for years. He's been hating on me. Like, oh, he probably secretly hates me. He never won a title. I took that chance from him. And, who knows? Maybe this is just secret hate. I don't know. And, from Charles Barkley's perspective, he was just being honest and saying, and calling it like he saw it. But again, Michael Jordan just felt like the way he saw it. And to me, the reason why he stopped talking to him is that Charles Barkley needed to have a hot take at his expense. And that's just really what it was. And if you're my friend, you don't need to have hot takes at my expense. And, to me, that's just really the bottom line. But I'm super excited for Michael Jordan to come back to NBC. Anytime Michael Jordan is contributing to anything, I think it's special for us as NBA fans. And, I really do believe Michael Jordan is coming back to say goodbye to the LeBron James era. They want to build the sport back up. The NBA wants to build back up. They want to be a premier sport again. They want to be leading. They want to be leading in the industry, in the sports industry, like the way the NFL is. But they can't capture that with the current cast of players that they have. Michael Jordan, he has inspired players and fans all over the world to win at everything that they do. People use Michael Jordan quotes for, things that they do at work. So the regular everyday 9-to-5 person is posting a Michael Jordan quote. Hey, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. I tell my team members that all the time. I'm a leader of people, and I use sports analogies to really motivate my team and to drive results. And Michael Jordan, one of those quotes I use Lionel Messi. There's plenty of just super inspirational players and athletes out there that they speak to people. And Michael Jordan is one of those. I mean, Tom Brady, when he was retiring, he had Michael Jordan speak on, he had Michael Jordan there. And it doesn't matter what sport you play. Michael Jordan is one of the best athletes that ever lived, period, across all sports. So, much respect. Salute to Michael Jordan for coming back. This is going to be epic. Love him or hate him, Whether you're a LeBron fan, a Jordan fan, this is going to be special for the sport, and I really look forward to it. I do want to throw up the phone lines. I want to hear from you guys and what you have to say. But first, before we open up the lines, I do want to read the super chats that came through. So we have a $2 super chat from the real Donald Trump that came through. Thank you. Salute to you. Cooper Flag equals Andrew Wiggins, not special. That's interesting. We'll see. Okay. Andrew Wiggins is a legitimate NBA player. Cooper Flag is not. So we're going to see what Cooper Flag delivers when he comes to the NBA. Like I said, I don't think that he was much of a closer. So, we'll see if he's able to improve that. Again, he's only 19 years old. Let's see what he's going to do. Let's give him a chance. Then thank you so much, AP, for the $5 super chat. Fire Adam Silver. That would be a start. Go Knicks. Absolutely. I think Adam Silver does need to be fired. He is not only participating in all sorts of collusion. What bothers me about Adam Silver is that he does this and then has the absolute audacity to investigate other teams and other situations that involve collusion or some sort of quid pro quo. So my whole thing is he had the Knicks investigated for Rick Brunson's role on the team and how he was able to obtain his salary. Then he had the Oklahoma City Thunder investigated for apparently just hoarding all these number one picks and obtaining number one picks. How did they do this? Were they tanking, et cetera, et cetera? But yet never investigates the Lakers for Bronny's draft or the Luka trade or just any of the other crazy things that go on, or Bronny's mysterious injury that he was out for 2 weeks, came back kind of looking like he went to the Labalco lab, or LeBron's 2-week disappearance and just, random decision not to play. So again, Adam Silver should definitely be fired. It's not a coincidence that the Lakers were given the first round pick after the AD trade. It's not a coincidence that, the Pelicans were given the first round pick after the AD trade. And it's not a coincidence that the Mavericks were given the number one pick after this Luka trade. So Adam Silver should be ashamed of himself for trying to insult the intelligence of NBA fans and the American public. He should be ashamed of himself for needing to orchestrate athletic success for these players when we have a collection of the best athletes in the world. He's just a disgrace. He's a complete disgrace, quite frankly. Salute to It's Not That Serious. So nice to see you here in the audience. I know that oftentimes I'm streaming late and you haven't been able to join those streams. So salute to you. Thank you for being here. And thank you for the $20 super chat. The NBA on NBC is awesome. However, how bad the ratings were, they gave him the Brinks truck to up the ratings. MJ's analysis of the game can't be challenged with this narrative generation that we live in. And I couldn't agree with you more. I think that this is going to scare the media that lies. It's going to scare Clutch Sports. How are they going to combat with the truth? How are they going to combat with, one of the most important athletes that has ever lived, one of the most important voices in sports, that when they speak, it's purposeful. Nobody's going to think that Michael Jordan's lying about anything. So I love that this is going to combat narratives, the narrative-driven excuses that we hear, the narrative-driven legacies that we are forced to witness. Michael Jordan's coming back to NBC, I think, is going to combat a lot of that and prevent some of it. So really excited about that. And thank you so much. It's Not That Serious for the super chat. Salute to you, Dante Reeves, Anime Manga King, for the $4.99 super chat. Donovan Mitchell on Fraud Watch. Dude was the number one seed in the East with a 64-18 record and the coach of the year, and still got gentlemen swept. I mean, I called it. So this was one of my predictions that did come true, is that Donovan Mitchell is a regular season player. The Cavaliers are a regular season team. They had Darius Garland, he's not that guy to really rely on, even though he's somebody that they do rely on. I knew that he was going to be an Achilles heel, and either, and look, he didn't play because of his toe, came back, wasn't anything to ride home about, wasn't super sensational. And then again, what I've seen is that Donovan Mitchell led Utah Jazz to stellar records throughout the regular season because the regular season isn't real. The stars don't show up to play. They don't play really good basketball throughout the regular season. Nobody's taking it serious. People aren't, quote unquote, in game playing shape. They're not gelling and clicking with their teams yet. They oftentimes show up to the NBA with dad bods. They're not conditioned properly. So they've got to get in shape throughout the regular season and get ready for the playoffs, which is ridiculous. You should be always ready for the playoffs. You should be practicing, right? But again, Cavaliers, I think that they show up solid and consistent throughout the regular season, and then they just crumble in the postseason because they're not prepared for the competition that they never saw throughout the regular season. That's the problem, is that the competition changes. And essentially, we're looking at two different seasons. There's the regular season, and then there's the postseason. And unfortunately, teams level up their level of competition in the postseason, and they should, but we shouldn't see such a stark difference between competition in the regular season that feels like it's fake news, like it's not real, versus the postseason that's just so gritty, so defensive. The games are being scored a lot lower for certain series. We're seeing teams really buckle down and play ball. We're seeing teams ball out. And we're seeing them fight. We're seeing teams fight for their lives. So salute to App for the $5 super chat. Thank you. New York Knicks, 40 years since they had the number one. Yeah. I mean, what was it? I think it's the 70s. So I think 1977 was the last time that the New York Knicks won the title. So of all of my years, I have not seen the Knicks capture a championship in my entire life. So I would love to see that. And honestly, like I've said before, I've said it time and time again, New Yorkers, we don't need titles. We need to see fights. So we need to see our players, not like physical fights on the court necessarily, but we need to see the fight. We need to see them hustling. We need to see them trying hard. We need to see them putting their entire game on the floor. That's what we look for as New Yorkers. So I want to take a moment to open the phone lines up. I have time for one or two phone calls. Please call in, talk to me nice. Okay. Let me know your thoughts. Is Michael Jordan coming back to NBC to say goodbye to the LeBron James era? We have our first caller. Thank you for
Michael
calling
Jordan
Sports
coming
Tea.
back
Talk to
to
me
NBC.
nice.
Hey, what's up, Dom?
Hey, T-Bert. How's it going? What do you think?
Good. I'm gonna keep this short because I'm trying to go to bed early tonight, and I know you got stuff to do too. So I'll just hit on the last two. All right. Golden State Warriors T-Wolves series. I thought it was interesting. I think it's over. As much as I've been calling in, talking to you, really pulling for Steph Curry to get another ring, I don't think it's happening. And here's the reason why, outside the obvious injury. It comes down to coaching and personnel. So if you look at, I'm gonna give you a technical aspect of it. If you look at the strategies on defense that they tried, they're deploying every strategy. I counted off the top of my head 4. They went man to man, that didn't work. They went 1-2-2, that didn't work. They went box and 1, that didn't work. Then they finally tried a 2-3. They just don't have the personnel to run. The most effective defense was the 1-2-2, but in that defense, your point guard your guard up the top, he has to apply tremendous pressure. And it was Podziemski, and he doesn't have the footwork to slide. So they can't stop him on defense. And on offense, real quick on offense, they're not putting their players in the best positions. They're still running to score. They're still running the same offense as if Steph Curry is there. Jimmy Butler, if you look at his game, he's a one-on-one type player, meaning 3 dribbles, get the shot up. 5 dribbles at the most, get the shot up. He can't start his offense outside the 3-point line. I know you can't change the offense in the middle of the season, but what you can do is implement a mid-post play for him, right? And that's where he could excel. So I think Steve Kerr is doing a tremendous disservice to putting Jimmy Butler in the wrong position. He should be in the post, like in the mid post, pinch post, the elbow, like Kobe used to run. And the next year, the triangle offense would be great for them if they kept it, because Jimmy would be that post player. Moving on to your boy Pajimski, who you are so in love with. I don't know why he's playing. Like, I've been listening to you, Dom, saying this for I don't know how long now, and I've been trying to just hold out hope because, you know, I'm just so optimistic. I want Curry and them to win. Pajimski, bro, get on the bench and Kuminga start. It's just that damn simple. And I'll move on to the Jordan one. You know I'm a huge Jordan fan. He's the greatest I've seen in my time, but me and you are alike. We don't say who's the GOAT, but he's the greatest I've ever seen in my lifetime. And I've probably seen 90% of his interviews. I'm excited that he's coming back. You're gonna have a great partner with him, with the network. But I'm anticipating, because we know he's a contributor, but we don't know what he's going to do exactly. If you look at all of Jordan's interviews, he is highly intelligent. He says the politically correct thing. He's not going to attack anyone directly. So I'm thinking he's going to stay that way. What I'm hoping as a basketball purist, the things I love, I hope he comes and breaks down the analytical, tactical part of the game. Like Kobe did detail, I'm hoping he breaks the game down that way. Now, a lot of the casual fans wouldn't like it, but people like me and you, oh my God, what I love it. Break down the NBA. And last thing, you said something phenomenal. It's 2 seasons that they're playing, right? The regular season and the postseason, which is, it's destroying the NBA as a product as a whole, because you're watching 2 different sports, basically, right? And the disparity should not be that wide of a gap. It's 2 different games we're watching. So I'm hoping Michael Jordan can come, bring his high IQ, his intellect, and break down the analytical part of the game, and maybe we can get the NBA back to some semblance of decency where it used to be, right? And I'll leave it there. Your thoughts, and then I'll hang up. Your thoughts on what I said, and then I'm out of here.
I love what you said, T-Bert. You know, Michael Jordan coming back, I think him breaking things down, sort of like a detail situation. I think people would appreciate that and enjoy it. I know that I for sure would, but I don't want to see a repeat of details. What I do want to see is something different. So I want to see, I don't know exactly what I want to see, but I just want to see Michael Jordan have his own thing. You know what I mean? And I want it to be special for NBA fans and even for the players. So I want this to be so special that it's special for players to even hear him speak. The current players that are in the league, I don't want it to be that there continues to be this divide between, you know, the older generations and the younger ones. And, you know, even Michael Jordan breaking down the game to say how it should be played or what could have been done better could be, I think, something that could be viewed as divisive. Even though it shouldn't be, right? I think that what LeBron James tries to do with Mind the Game, I mean, we have not heard him mind the game one time. We have not heard him talk about a play in that show one time. All we've heard him do is create lies and false narratives. So Michael Jordan really understands basketball. He knows how to play the game. He knows what he's looking at and knows how to really talk about it. But I'm curious, how can they elevate something like that for Michael Jordan? You have Michael Jordan coming to NBC. What is that really about? And the comment that I have highlighted on the screen by Do It D, he said, if MJ is joining, I'm thinking he's positioning himself for network ownership or partial ownership. It's definitely not just for basketball coverage. And I don't think it's about just basketball coverage. I think it's about rejuvenating NBA fans in this league. So there's some sort of, you know, there's something behind it, but I do also think that there is also something in it for Michael Jordan. So that's a great comment. And that is what I think about what you said.
I like that.
You know, thank you so
much. I like how you broke that comment down.
And I think also you talked about Minnesota and the T-Wolves. I mean, the series is over, you know. So, you know, those are my thoughts. And I just want to thank you for calling in. You always have such great takes. And, you know, I really appreciate you watching and holding me down in the chat.
Right. No problem, Dom. No problem. Always a pleasure. I'm gonna hang up, but also, when I hang up, just give me your take on what you thought about what I said about the Golden State T-Wolves. And I'm out of here. Shout out to the chat. Thank you, Dom, for producing the show.
What part of it did you want me to respond to specifically?
Oh, anything you wanted to. Anything I said about the Golden State and T-Wolves part. I know I broke everything down from offense to defense, but I love to hear what you think about what I say. So I'm gonna leave on that note. And one last thing, the guy he got up on the screen now, do it, D. He said, "Are you going to be transitioning to the coverage of the W?" Heck yeah, she is. All right, I'm out of here, Dom. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, T-Bert. Really appreciate you. Have a good one. Okay.
All right. Thanks.
Alrighty.
Bye.
So guys, I do have time for one more call. You know, I can take one more caller. I saw that a couple folks beeped in, so I feel bad that I missed you. We have time to take one more. Looks like we have someone. So thank you for calling Sports Tea. Talk to me nice.
Time to take one more. Hey Dom.
Hi, how's it going? Who do we have on the line?
Oh yeah, this is Jamal.
Hi, Jamal. So talk to me nice. What do you think about MJ coming back to NBC, or did you want to talk about any of the other topics here? You pick one.
Well, I'm happy that NBA and NBC is coming back. I think that the NBA, I think this is a almost like a Hail Mary move on the part of Adam Silver. I think he's tired of pissing off the older fans and making this. You know, I think. And I'm glad that the ABC ESPN deal is over because Disney was just ruining it. But I think they probably will hope to boost a lot of the lost fans because the international fans that they've gained, they lost a lot of those American fans in the process. So they want to bring back true basketball fans. That's what I think part of that is.
I love that. Like, honestly, we're getting a lot of really good calls about this and you know why this is happening. And I think that there's just so many angles to it. There's so many layers. And I think that all of these answers are right. So I think that Michael Jordan coming back to NBC, it can impact so many different areas and facets of not just the game, but the business and just, you know, the trajectory of the league and the future of the NBA. So you make a lot of really great points, and I thank you so much for this call.
You're hard to hear because it sounds so low.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
No, I said you sound so low on like I don't know. I call you in.
Maybe it's
for
the
some
phone.
reason it sounds super low.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, I get you a little bit better now.
I'm so sorry about that.
And so the only thing I want to say after this is, number one, I agree with the whole conspiracy of Dallas. And number two, that I think that Donovan Mitchell is a second-tier star. And I think in the playoffs, once he goes up against somebody who's of a higher caliber, who's a superstar caliber player, he gets exposed or you know, a real solid team. And I think Indiana just has too many stars. I think Tyrese Halliburton might be better than him.
I agree. I think Tyrese Halliburton is a better point guard than Donovan Mitchell. And I think Donovan Mitchell he's great as a two guard, but he definitely needs another superstars alongside him. That's what I really believe about Donovan.
Yeah, you can't win the champ title as a number one with Donovan Mitchell.
Well, thank you so much, Jamal.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell's not a number one. But thank you, yeah.
No,
Have
thank
a good
you
night.
for calling in. You too. Have a good night. Now, I know that Sabrina called. I would love for you to call back. Call me back, Sabrina. Let's see if I can get her on the line. I really appreciate when Sabrina calls in. She's really funny. So I'm curious to know what she thinks about Michael Jordan coming back to NBC. Let's see what she has to say. Hi, Sabrina. Thanks for calling Sports Tea. Talk to us nice. How are you doing today?
Oh, you called me back. So nice.
Yes,
Oh, you know I
absolutely.
have a lot to say.
I know
I
you
say the
do.
same
So
thing about Pajin.
here's the thing. I have about 2 minutes left. Okay. Actually 1 minute. So if you can share your final thoughts in 1 minute. So what speaks to you the most? If you want to talk about Pajemski and the Timberwolves and Warriors game, or do you want to talk about MJ? You pick one.
MJ, of course.
Let's go. Let's do it. What do you think about MJ coming back to NBC? Do you think that he's coming back to say goodbye to the LeBron James era?
Yep, I do. I'm so happy. I was so ecstatic yesterday when I heard the news.
Me too.
And y'all keep forgetting that Kamala Anthony name is in the mix too. Ooh, LeBron must be having him and his fanboys, Uncut Sports. They all must be pulling out their hair. They're gonna be about being bald as LeBum soon.
They're all gonna need some hair plugs.
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
can't wait.
gosh. They're
He
like,
should have retired while he had a chance.
absolutely. They're over here clenching
He
their
should have
pearls.
seriously retired while he had a chance. I am so ecstatic. Now my nephew, he's not calling me back now.
Yep.
He haven't called me back for a little while regarding because he's a fanboy.
They're
And I
about to
told
get
him I'm
exposed.
ashamed of him because he got 2 masters and he don't have no common sense.
Yeah, you're gonna have to just disown him, Sabrina. But I want to thank you for calling. I said you're gonna have to
Okay.
disown your nephew. You're gonna have to disown him
Nah,
for
I'm not
being a
gonna disown
fanboy.
him, but I told him that I am so I don't send him so much proof. And I said, how could you respect a man who has no integrity?
Exactly. But thank you so much for calling in, Sabrina. I really had to get your thoughts on this. So you have a wonderful night, and I'll see you tomorrow.
You do
Okay.
the same.
All righty.
Yeah, you are sounding kind of low on a telephone call.
I have to do something to fix
I
that.
think it's something about your mic, perhaps.
I
Maybe you
think
should get your
it's
mic
I
checked out because
think
I've been noticing
it's
that the
not the
last couple of
mic.
days.
It's not the mic. It's actually, I think, when phone calls are coming through. So thank you so much for calling in, Sabrina. I'm gonna get ready to end the live, but I just want to say my final thoughts, and I'll see you hopefully a part of the live tomorrow. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bless
you.
you for calling me back. I
Aw,
appreciate it.
bless you as well. Have a good night.
All right. Have a
Bye-bye.
good night.
Alrighty, guys. Really, I've had so much fun during this stream. I know I streamed during the game, so it probably impacted the audience that could join and watch. I know it's difficult to watch two things at the same time. I've been watching this Denver game, and last time I checked, Denver was up by 3 points. So OKC is trailing by 3, and we're in the third quarter with about 10 minutes left or so. So we'll see if OKC can squeak out this win. I'm really curious. I mean, I think that this game, game 5 is such an important game that usually is it tells who's going to win the series. That's what they say, right? So we've got to see, but really grateful that you guys were all able to join me tonight. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and share the video. This piece is really important. I want to grow the sports tea community to be really big. I want us to have, more people that can come in and have a safe place to talk about sports. So let your friends and family know about sports tea and share this on your social media. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so, and like the video. Like. Thank you guys for joining, and have a wonderful evening. Happy, what's today? Tuesday? Yeah, happy Tuesday. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I can't wait to recap this Denver game and congratulate the Pacers and celebrate their win tomorrow with you guys. So, and hopefully I'll be able to recap at least one of the games, maybe live. Maybe I'll do a little watch party with you guys, but we'll see. But I'll definitely be back tomorrow, and have a good night. Enjoy the rest of the evening and this game. So don't clench your pearls too tight for whoever you're rooting for, but it's definitely going to be a nail biter. It looks like this game is really close, so just sit back and enjoy. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.